Hello, I'm the Masked Gamer, and this is my review of the Burger King Mewtwo figure. This is part of their Detective Pikachu lineup. Last time I discussed Pikachu and mentioned how I was planning on, if I could get my hands on them, doing videos on all of the Detective Pikachu Burger King toys that are being released, and that still holds true if I can get my hands on them. I actually did recently pick up the Detective Pikachu plush, and I do plan to do a video on that in the near future, specifically comparing it to Tommy's Detective, not Detective, but just normal Pikachu plush. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about Mewtwo. This Mewtwo toy is not as good as Pikachu in my opinion. It has many of its same problems. It has the branding on the back, similar to Pikachu's. And unlike Pikachu, this is not a light-up figure. Rather, this figure is a ball-launching toy. That's why his arms are like this. And here's the thing I found to be interesting. It's hard to do with one hand. His legs are actually completely articulated. Well, not completely, but his legs are, in fact, slightly articulated. I'm assuming just to give this figure a little articulation. They can be crossed. I wouldn't recommend doing that, though, because he cannot stand up like that. It looks cool, but it isn't particularly practical. His arms are in this pose permanently, however, and cannot be articulated, which is a shame because I would like to be able to bring his arms down, because he looks kind of silly like this without the glowing purple ball. Which, speaking of which, I'm sorry to do this to you, but one-handed. I'm doing this off my phone. He has this purple ball, which is, I think, supposed to be the move Shadow Ball, though it could just be a generic ball of psychic energy. Now, like Mewtwo, this actually has branding on it. Not sure how well it shows up on camera, but one of the sides has branding. It has little slits for his hands. And I'm specifically looking for the branding, but there it is. The branding is a bit more subtle on this than it is on the Mewtwo figure. And I will say, when looked at from the side, or rather from specific side angles, the branding isn't that bad on Mewtwo, but if you look at him directly from the back, unlike Pikachu, there is really no way to minimize the awkwardness of looking at the back of this figure. Pikachu had the whole tail with very subtle branding. Mewtwo sadly does not get that. Also, for some reason, his tail has a humongous hole. His tail's not only hollow, but it has like this big notchy hole, and it serves, from what I can tell, very little purpose in the figure. If someone down in the comments can tell me what that's about, then that would be appreciated. I'd like to show you the ball moving articulation, but I have trouble just getting the ball in there. As you can see, like, I just have trouble getting the ball into his hands. But the idea is that when he's balls his hands, you can shoot it out by pressing that. And I really want to show what he looks like. You can tell I do not edit these videos at all. I do not know how to edit. I apologize for making this look as awkward as possible, but it is very difficult to not make this look awkward when I am trying to do this. I thought I had improved, but sadly, this is very awkward to do. Okay. He is supposed to hold on to this ball, but you have to line up the notches perfectly, I think. And even that seems to be luck-based. Like, this is nowhere near as well designed as the Pikachu figure, in my opinion. Granted, the Pikachu figure only really lit up. So there really wasn't much to do, but this, I think, it seems like its design was compromised for its toy function, where Pikachu was designed around it. And it kind of tells. The design isn't exactly compromised, but it looks very silly without the proper movements. You have to line this up. I apologize, people. I am making this a lot more painful than it needs to be. But there. He's in the ball, and from directly the front, it looks kind of weird. From up, it actually kind of looks almost menacing in a way. That might actually be what I use for the thumbnail. But not the point. That is the other side of my room. we are going to see how far. And yeah, it launches. That's literally the only function of this figure, is that it launches the toy. It can stand up. With some work, he can stand up, and I think that's why the tail is positioned the way it is. That might also be why it's hollow. But he can stand up. I noticed that, maybe it's because I just haven't seen as much of the design from the movie, but this looks a lot more like the anime and game style design than the movie design. Now, I haven't really seen much of the movie's design. I think I've only really seen the one trailer, so that could be why. But I do see more of the video game design with like some added detail rather than what very little I've seen of the movie design. So maybe that could be just me. But I've noticed this with both the Mewtwo things, but almost more so than Pikachu, Mewtwo seems to be based more on his anime appearance than his movie appearance, which isn't really a problem. It kind of goes in the whole, the movie's experimental designs aren't super great for merchandise. Just not yet because people aren't used to them, but leave a comment down below and subscribe if you'd like. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this figure. My next video will be on the Detective Pikachu plush. And see you in the comments down below.